And right now, more mosquitoes are testing positive for EEE, a serious disease caused by a virus that is spread to people by mosquito bites, prompting warnings from officials. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Mike Cerullo is live in Farmington with the latest on this dangerous virus.
Well, Leah, good morning. Well, no human cases of EEE have been reported in Connecticut so far this summer. There have been EEE positive mosquitoes further west now than we've seen so far this year. Manchester and Farmington are two of the latest towns to join a list of places where positive tests for mosquitoes have been found. They joined a number of eastern Connecticut communities, including Canterbury, Ledyard, North Stonington, Sterling, and Voluntown. In total, we've seen 52 mosquitoes test positive this summer statewide. Now, DEEP has been trying to take action this summer, trying to keep people safe by spraying for mosquitoes at the Patchogue State Forest. To protect yourself, DEEP suggests using bug spray, wearing long sleeves, staying indoors during peak mosquito times like dawn and dusk, and keeping your windows and door screens closed. Now, earlier this summer, we spoke to a researcher who explained why EEE may be more prevalent this year.
This summer has particularly warm and humid and hot and very wet, and so mosquitoes require water to develop into adults, and with the warmer temperatures that will accelerate their generation time.
Now, the virus can be deadly, and as of now, there is no treatment or vaccine for EEE. Again, no human cases reported in Connecticut, but we have seen human cases in nearby states this year, like Massachusetts and New Hampshire. For now, that's the latest on EEE in our state, but we'll keep you updated. Live in Farmington, Mike Cerullo, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.